Hello, card in the creek. These two suck each other's penises. Ha ha ha. I wonder if Chris will bitch about bench spots for the millionth time this week. Cowdy is 1-8. Jesus Christ, somebody kill him. I love big titties.
What's up, homos? Wrote this song to be included in my recap. It's written for all the noobs of Cart in the Creek. Dustin Mary, next year's noob, after we kick Pancoke out of the league. This one's for you. It's about following the rules of your fantasy football league and not slacking. So some of you could probably, take advice from this. If you want to be in this league, you gotta follow a couple guidelines. So pay attention to what I say, or you'll end up on the sidelines like Ben Butler. It starts at the golf outing and some national anthem singing. Then you wait around on draft night for John to log on, but his telephone started ringing. And it kicked him off the internet and out of a chat room dedicated to Martina McBride. So he has to restart his gateway desktop computer and relaunch America Online 3.0. Caught in the creek. It's our fantasy football league. Caught in the creek. It's our fantasy football league. Your team is set. Go to the message boards, talk a little smack about how you'd like to have butt sex with Brimmer's mom and come on her back. The season is here, the lineups are set. Make sure you have all your healthy players. Have 3 injuries in week 1 and 2 in the next, and build a team off of the waivers. Sorry, Jason. Card in the creek. It's our fantasy football league. Card in the creek. It's our fantasy football league. Your team is winning, your shit talking's good, and you're trade raping all those noobs. You edit the schedule for the league every fucking year, but there's one thing you forgot to do. You know what it is. That's right, a recap. Oh, right, a recap. How could you forget? They think you're full of shit. When James quit the league, they'd rather you've done it, 'cause you didn't write a recap. The league has crazy rules that you gotta learn. Number 1, write a recap when it's your turn. Number 2, Spencer's allowed to be himself, and Jason to 8 a.m. group text. Confusing compliments to a 1-8 team while we struggle to grasp the context. And Swen loses in the playoffs, and Nate wears pink panties every fucking week, and Brimmer wins golf every fucking year while Lucas shits in the trees. Well, there are many rules to Cart in the Creek, but they really aren't that hard. So remember the most important of all. Write a recap, you fucking retard. Caught in the creek. It's our fantasy football league. Caught in the creek. It's our fantasy football league. I hate you all.
Week 9 recap. Let's start with the fuck sheet bowl of the league. Kyle versus Nate. If you gave me the choice of having Nate's team or Kyle's team, I'd choose a bullet to the fucking face. Nate rides on the back of a very tan Sam Dean Kid Do to victory. Kyle, you are 1-8. 1-8. 1-8. 1-8. 1-8. Let's graduate up the chain of giving a fuck to the highest scoring matchup of the week. Vasek vs. John Sims. For two teams with a winning percentage of 388. This matchup proved to be actually fun to watch. They put up the first and third best scores of the week. Too bad so sad John Sims. Vasek moves to 3-6 with an outside chance to make the playoffs in the terrible, awful, no good, very bad, hey, F.C. Let's transition to a battle between two people that nobody enjoys having a conversation for more than 20 seconds with. Jason vs. Chase. Eddie Lacy took a nice big poopy on the field for Jason this week. Chase put up solid numbers across the board with exception of the flex position. Even though Chase is sitting at 4-5, he is only one game back from a wild card spot. Jason moves to 3-6 and is hanging out with me at the bottom of the division. Which is funny, because he is probably the last person I would want any association with. You know how every group of friends has what is basically two mentally handicapped people try to attack each other with their limp dicks? Well, here's Bremer vs. Dustin. It was almost a must-win for Bremer to keep pace with the little engine in Houston. Drew Brees has finally found his form, throwing for 3 touchdowns and running one in himself. Even with the loss, Dustin retains the division lead and is pretty much a lock for the playoffs. Bremer, even with a 7-2 record, is still a game behind Spencer. That division might be decided by their matchup in Week 11, barring an upsets by Jason or myself. Oh yeah, congrats on the new addition to your family. If it is a girl, you should name her Mary Jane or Mary Jane. If it is a boy, name him Pot. This is the part of the recap where I would normally talk about the matchup between Jake and Lucas. But seeing as how nobody gives two shits about that, I've decided to instead show some pictures of sweet tits. Oh yeah. Look at these nice puppies. This is really doing it for me. I think I just came. Now let's move on to the matchup between future father-in-laws to each other's child. Sven asserted as much dominance a man that cannot grow a beard physically can. Seriously, all of his position players scored over 10 points with the exception of Duke Johnson who scored 9.8. Scary parity throughout his team. The once strong Alex continues his downward spiral and has now lost his last 3 games in a row. Yet somehow he is still tight for the division lead. Great. Now I have to talk about Spencer. D'Angelo Williams put up 40 points on his way to victory over our league noob. Does it piss anyone else off that Spencer has by far the least amount of points scored against him this year? I hope the cartel kidnaps you. Mary's team is the 5th team this year to break the 1,000-point mark. His hopes are still high to make the playoffs as he sits at 5-4. And has a 1-game lead in the wild card. Jesus Christ, is this over yet? I'm just going to say Pancoke got lucky, and it is that. This ends the Week 9 recap. Feel free to go fuck yourselves.